Stoners and executives, the lost and the found. You are now tuned in to the Disney Holic Show.
Hello and welcome to the Disney Holic Show. That's Jen Diz.
And that's Myke TV.
In today's episode, we dig through Reddit to find out what items have been reported lost and found at Disneyland. Then we take a peek into the lives of film studio execs with Seth's new TV series, The Studio.
First name basis. Okay. Is that, first of all, I love that you're on first name basis with Seth Rogen.
Seth Rogen, first name basis. I'm a
Best friend
huge
Trevor.
fan and supporter.
Is this supposed to look like him?
So for the two people that watch us on YouTube, there is AI generated version of Seth Rogen has joined us on the podcast today.
It looks like Little Dicky.
What?
Little Dicky, the rapper, the actor.
Don't know what that is. It just sounded
Well, he looks just like him.
sexual.
That's what he looks like.
But
Like,
yes,
excuse
so
me?
Seth Rogen, our friend of the show in the future one day, he has a new TV series out. No, it is not on Disney Plus. It is on Apple TV Plus. It's called The Studio. But as I'm watching it, and it's one of those that, they're airing weekly. As I'm watching it, there's just so many things I want to comment out loud on related to the things we know and love when we're talking about Disney movies, Marvel movies, Star Wars movies.
Okay.
And yeah, so that's why we're here. The series is not even over, but there's just certain things that are just so funny and interesting that I thought would be perfect to talk to ourselves about here on the Disney Holic Show. And then I also have a really fun list of lost and found items from Reddit that I've been
Nice. That'll be fun.
collecting over the months and years. And I thought, now's the time.
Now is the time. Now is the
Now's the
best time.
time.
Now is the
Now
best
is the
time
best
of our
time.
lives.
Now's the best time of
That's
our
right. Wait,
lives.
did you say where we can watch this
Apple
show?
TV Plus, if you're
Apple
paying
TV.
attention, Jen Diz.
I wasn't.
Wait, I thought you were gonna say you were, and I was ready. Darn. Okay.
No, I was, but I wasn't at the same time.
It's
Carry
okay.
on.
Sometimes you're driving while you're listening. I'm sure we have some people out there driving.
Multitasking. Is it multitasking though if you can't pay attention at the same time?
If you happen to be multitasking as the reason.
Oh, speaking of multitasking, I am going in and changing my name on here because I didn't do that either. There we go. Moving on. Yeah.
Moving on, Jen has a new name. She's now married to which Disney character
Not.
if you were to marry somebody tomorrow?
If I was to marry a Disney character, marry
Mary.
like in love or for like reasons.
Whatever. Just so we can give you a new last name for the show tonight, for today's
I would
episode.
marry Old Bill because he has two cats and he's in Pirates of the Caribbean and I get to live in Disneyland.
So you would be of Bill
Uh, yes.
if you were his handmaid. They're like off Joseph,
Yeah.
off Fred, off Bill. Okay, so on today's episode, we're talking about a man who once broke into the Disney universe as I think it was his first, as a warthog.
Oh, that's
Yep.
right.
Live action
That is
Lion King,
right. Very
directed
cute.
by
That one guy.
Jon Favreau,
Oh,
who
I
also,
could have guessed it. That's the first person that came to my head.
right? He does a lot of Star Wars. He's also did Iron Man, the
Dang.
first MCU
I
film
totally didn't
after
think he did it.
Incredible Hulk. So yeah, Seth Rogen. He's now um in a show that he directs and produces on Apple TV Plus. Seth Rogen, welcome to the show.
Welcome.
Hey guys, I can't do his
Oh
voice.
my
I
God.
can't do his voice. That sounded more like our friend Danielle for some reason.
Oh, that is so rude. You
No,
take that
I
back.
mean our friend D Wild when she's trying to impersonate somebody.
Shocking. And she goes by Danny now, first of all.
Oh, sorry.
Rude on so many levels.
Okay, so Seth Rogen, who voiced Pumbaa in Lion King, we said, he also had a very fun cameo voiceover in Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, the movie. We did a whole episode on it. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he was Launchpad.
Launchpad McQuack was not. But okay, this is a iceberg. This is an iceberg that whoever made Chippendales Rescue Rangers threw the iceberg Easter egg into this, which is so cool.
Okay.
Because that movie already was full of Easter eggs because it was like Roger Rabbit, where it was all animated people together. It doesn't matter which company or
Hmm.
studio in Hollywood. So Seth came on that movie to voice Bob the Warrior Viking. Now, gamers will know Bob the Warrior Viking way back in the day. Do you remember they'd have cutscenes and the CG was starting to look good and realistic, like a movie, but still
Yeah,
not perfect?
right.
And they still had the weird eyes, the dead in the eyes,
Yeah.
which in 2025, the Seven Dwarves still have.
Oh,
But
let's
this
not
is
talk about
like
it.
early 2000s character named Bob the Warrior Viking, and he became like a famous meme and stuff over the decades because of how scary he looked. Not scary, but because of how dead in the eyes he looked. So they brought him into Rescue Rangers as a character that lives like on the studio lot and voiced by Seth Rogen. And so that's like very deep cut. It's not even Disney. It's just people who know about animation
That's
and stuff.
weird. There must be, yeah, just some cool story there. That he also has like a very recognizable voice,
Very
right?
recognizable voice.
Yeah.
And Bob was Bob the Viking was surrounded by other CG characters, because again, that was part of the joke. Because one between Chip and Dale, one of them decided to go through the CG um, makeover, like the CG. I guess it'd be the equivalent of going to get like a facelift or something or Botox.
Right.
So he went to do that, and then he visited other characters that were hanging out with Bob, which were Pumbaa, live action Pumbaa, and Bob, also named Bob, from Monsters versus Aliens. This was a DreamWorks movie. And
Oh my gosh,
Mantis,
how funny.
the giant praying mantis, not giant, but the because they're all anthropomorphic in Kung Fu Panda. Seth Rogen also plays Mantis, and they all did the Seth Rogen laugh together.
That's in Rescue Rangers.
In
What the
Rescue
heck?
Rangers, like
I
one
guess I need to watch that at some
like
point.
6 second cameo, genius, all in that one
That's
six
great.
seconds. Yeah, love it. Seth Rogen also is a Disneyholic, particularly Disneyland. He loves Disneyland. And there's a post from 2016 on Instagram. I had the best day at Disneyland. I can't do his voice, but I can hear it in my mind.
Yeah, it's got like a growl to it, right?
Yeah, it
Like a
does. I really
grit.
like it.
Yeah, me too.
I also find it sexy, if that makes, I find him very sexy, Seth Rogen.
Oh, I
Even the
did
way
not
he
know
looked
this.
all through time before he had different glow ups and stuff. I don't know. And he just seems like funny. Like I want to hang out with him type
I
of
know.
guy.
I want to, that's how I feel. I don't know about the sexy part, but I feel like I want to be friends with him. Like he just seems funny and like I want to hug him.
So cute. Yes, I want to hug him. Um, he's also been spotted by other Disneyholics that are looking for plaid at Disneyland and who the VIP plaid
Oh,
is hosting. And he was walking through downtown Disney with a plaid and a whole group family matching vacation shirts ensemble.
that's ridiculous and hilarious.
Ridiculous and hilarious. Okay, so I wanted to talk about this new show called The Studio. It is a satire based on and inspired by, just all these big Hollywood studios, whether it's Marvel Studios, Disney, DreamWorks, Fox. Wow, like half of those were Disney. I gotta think of some other ones. Um, MGM, which is not Disney anymore, Universal, duh. So all those big
That
ones. And it's kind of funny. it is very funny, but it's mostly funny because you're laughing at them, right? Not with them.
Right.
And so yeah, the studio is called Continental Studios, and there's actually a really big cast that makes either regular appearances or appear on the show itself. Um, on the most recent episode that I watched, Anthony Mackie is on it. And now here's where it gets interesting, is because it's
Captain
supposed to
America,
be
right?
Captain America. Yep. It's supposed to be a real working studio. And so therefore a lot of these cameos play themselves.
Okay.
So Anthony Mackie plays Anthony Mackie, who's casted in this big action movie that the studio is producing on set. And so you see the inner workings of it from that point of view. And really funny and interesting. And one of the things that happens is just like in real life, they have to go through different types of screenings, like the producer screenings, the investor screenings, way before the audience screenings. And so they just watched the new Anthony Mackie movie, but they had to sit through like 5 hours because that was the director's cut, was 5 hours.
Oh, shoot.
Right. And so it's like, be careful what you wish for. And they show
Yeah.
how a lot of what gets cut is just really ridiculous, and or the director just loved the scene or the lighting so much they couldn't let go of it. But really,
Mm.
nobody needs it. And like they're like falling asleep through it. But then you have to tell the director what you think. So there's this whole like workplace feedback moment, which is so funny, I know, for us because we're in HR in some of our professional lives. And yeah, so they have to do this whole thing where nobody wants to tell the director how long it is and what he needs to cut. And then they focus on just telling Anthony Mackie how great of an actor he is, because if you focus on that, you don't have to talk about the scenes to cut. So funny. So that's Anthony Mackie, but there's a lot of other people. Catherine Hahn is in it. And this shows how good of an actor she is, because we've known her, at least for the last 2 years of talking about her, has been through ta-da, ta-da,
Agatha.
Agatha all
Can't want to say
along
Wanda.
in WandaVision. Yep.
Agatha all along.
But she's been in so many things, comedy, live comedy movies. But she is a new character here, and she's such a good actress that I finally like I let go of Agatha, and now I see her as this lady. She plays the chief marketing officer of the studios. She's just over the top. She's one of those people who wear, when you think of like high fashion that is just annoying and ridiculous.
Yeah.
She wears pretty much everything that has come off of those runways.
Oh,
And so
shoot.
it just looks so stupid. Like everything's always matching top and bottoms and like huge accessories. And all she cares about is what she can market, what can become a toy, audience attention span. It's so funny the way she thinks.
Oh,
And
I like this already.
yeah, the thing she
You're selling
says,
this.
you're just like, oh my God, that makes sense. Like this must be what has been happening behind the scenes of like, a Snow White or Avengers or something. Um, there's other big names. Martin Scorsese, the famous director Martin Scorsese, who
Dang.
he makes fun of movies like MCU movies. He plays himself as a director that,
That's great.
yeah, this makes me think that all the things we hear in real life, like I think we're just taking these people too seriously, or it's like it's in writing, so it sounds worse. But the fact that Martin Scorsese is on this show, like making fun of himself, I'm like, okay, that's cool. So he's making fun of himself in a way that only the audience is laughing because he comes off as this very pretentious director, which I don't think he would play himself as that if he really was.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So yeah, he's kind of letting us make fun of him because what ends up happening is um, they talk about how a lot of people who become these mega studio heads are huge movie fans, just like us.
Hmm.
And in this
Like
show,
John Favreau is a really good
John
example of another
Favreau,
one.
oh my
Yep.
gosh, perfect example. I wouldn't be surprised if he appears on this show at some point. So, Seth Rogen's character, who is a character, he does not play himself. Seth Rogen's character, he is working in the movie studio, has been a fan his whole life, And suddenly, for whatever reason, no spoilers, he is presented with the job of studio head, which is like getting promoted like 10 levels up in this premise. And so he gets the job and now he's a studio head. And so you're seeing what happens when you're a movie fan, all the crap you have to deal with as a studio head, to the point where somebody had said a quote that is a real quote from real life, where
Okay.
when Seth Rogen, it gets meta again. Seth Rogen in real life, when he was young with his friend Evan, who they make movies together now, he was young. He was like interning somewhere young at a studio, stoner Seth Rogen, teenager. Um, and a studio head gave him words of wisdom. He said, uh, if you're the head of a studio, you have to make choices that make the movies worse.
That's actually great because that's that moment you were talking about earlier where they want to hold on to a scene that's beautiful, but we don't need it,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All the people you have to answer to. Um, he says he's constantly having to disappoint people by giving them notes they don't want to hear, which also ruins their passion. But it's a conflict that is at the heart of show business. So you also have that marketing person telling you
It's
what's paying
business,
right?
right?
They're
Yeah.
like, if we don't get Mattel to sign this toy deal because we go with your version of, whatever it is, then
Ooh, yeah.
yeah, we lose $20 million. So do you want that $20 million special effects budget,
Right.
or do you want the face to look like the face? Crazy. So things like that happen and are all based on true stuff because Seth and Evan Goldberg have gone through a lot. So they're like besties. They do a lot of movies together, either starring in them or making them. Um, so if you're familiar with the show Freaks and Geeks, which I think only had one or two seasons, it was Gen Z's and young millennials version of our My So-Called Life. Does that make sense?
Kind of,
Yeah, they
right?
had like a teenager high school alternative show that was a little racy for their time. Then it got canceled, but went on to spur huge megastars.
Yeah. Yep.
So Seth Rogen, James Franco, all of these people are from that show. So and a lot of them became friends and are involved in this series.
I love that.
And
I also love that the author of Freaks and Geeks, the writer or whatever.
yeah, Judd Apatow, big one, huge
Oh,
director.
maybe that's not who I'm thinking of. The guy who wrote the
No.
book, Paul Feige. Feige?
Oh yeah, he does.
Yeah.
Uh-huh, uh-huh. He
Love
does
it.
also Bridesmaids. He made Bridesmaids.
Nice. I gotta
Yeah.
follow more of his stuff because he's really funny. And then
Um,
these guys came out of that. Now they have this whole other brand, right?
yeah, and a lot of them, like big group of friends, some of them got canceled, but we won't mention those. But there's still a lot of them that
Oops.
are still working. And one of them, the exec who gave that advice that I mentioned earlier, the one who gave it, is now the president of 20th Century Studios, owned by Disney. So there you go.
Wow.
Full circle.
That's crazy.
So crazy. But yeah, good show. People should check it out. There's a lot of other stars that I'm not mentioning that are in it. There's a celebrity for everyone who's a fan of somebody. I'm like, what? They're in this
I
show?
guess I'm gonna
Yeah.
have to get Disney or Disney Plus, Apple TV Plus now because I also want to watch Severance. I haven't watched it yet.
Oh, I keep
And
hearing good things, innies and
Severance
outies.
and now the studio. So I
And I've been trying to
guess
get
that's
you to
worth it.
watch the one that's like based on Epcot and Tomorrowland and Walt Disney's Vision of the Future. The one
I don't even remember what that is.
where they go
Remind me.
space planeting. What is it called? For All Mankind. Oh, you
Oh,
should watch
yes,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like if they made a movie of Carousel of Progress and each scene was one season.
That's right. Okay.
Genius, genius.
Dang. So much to
Um,
watch, no time.
yeah, but I'll name drop a couple more that are on the studio so far because it's not finished yet, the first season. Catherine O'Hara plays a character, not herself.
Love her.
Love her from so many things. Bryan Cranston's in it, playing,
Okay.
no, I think he does play a character. Which is funny because when they use an actor as great as like Catherine O'Hara to play a character on the show, that means they can't use her later to make a cameo as Catherine O'Hara. Or can they? And it just gets even weirder. I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's the studio. Check it out, Apple TV Plus. Let's see. Oh, so another rabbit hole I went down, or that I've gone down over the years, has been lost and found items on Reddit.
This is a fun one. I'm excited for this.
And we love a Reddit subreddit
I
and
didn't realize that that would have made it onto the internet for whatever reason.
right? Yeah, everything is like everything you can think of that you might not be able to find, somebody's talking about it.
They are. And you
Especially
know
on
what?
Reddit.
Actually, quick random thought wave. TSA is actually a super fun account to follow on Instagram. They post like the weirdest shit people try to take through TSA and try to get like away
What?
with or whatever. Like their posts aren't very serious. You know how you would think like TSA has to be very like stringent and like government and stuff, but they post a lot of fun things that you can interact with and engage with. And
Oh,
I've asked them questions before, like they have open AMA, you can ask questions, they'll respond on their stories with it. Like they're like fun, and then their posts are really clever, like and funny. So that reminds me of
I
what you were
love that.
saying.
Some of my favorite, not some of my favorite, but some of the reality shows I watch are about those confiscated items at
Yeah,
customs.
yeah,
And I'm like, what? How are these people bringing that? And how do they not know? It's
exactly.
so crazy. Okay, so lost and found not at TSA, but at Disneyland specifically. This is just
Okay.
Disneyland.
All right, let's
So
hear it.
there's so many. So I'm just gonna cover as many as we want to talk about because they are pretty good. So one person said they lost a Jasmine doll, as in princess, first name basis like Seth, Jasmine. And they were surprised that they did find her. So in this one, there was two things missing. There were the pair of shoes that Jasmine was wearing, and then the doll itself missing in two separate places. So this is insane because they first reported the shoes missing because the daughter, whatever, I'm assuming it doesn't say the age. Whoops. The person, the woman, was upset that she
Are you
lost
also assuming the
the
gender though?
shoes.
Whoops.
Yes, yes. It said her.
Gender and age.
Yeah,
Okay.
it said her.
Oh, it says her. Okay, good.
Yeah, actually, they're talking about Jasmine, so I don't know if it. Okay, so the person who lost this, non-gender specific, lost Jasmine's shoes and reported just the
Okay.
shoes, which I'm assuming looks Jasmine-y because if it just looks like a Barbie shoe, good luck with that. So they reported the lost shoes, and then they reported the Princess Jasmine doll, which was then went missing the next day, the doll itself.
Oh my gosh, that kid, whoever had that in their hands, which is
Wait,
also
you
funny because
just
then
aged
they,
them.
oh, ageist.
Ageist, genderist. Yeah, we don't know how old or the person's gender.
You know, I have a lot of grown adult people around me that lose their shit all the time.
Yeah, in
So
both
it doesn't
ways,
have to
in
be a
all
little
kinds of
kid.
ways, losing their shit.
Yeah.
Okay, so this part I love. This is I want to say a true Disney holic that lost this because they wrote their name on the bottom of the foot of Jasmine.
Aw. Does it say Andy?
No, they didn't say their name, so we still don't know. It could be Alex or Pat, and we still won't
Pat.
know who it is, how old, what
Still don't
gender.
know. Yep.
So they said that. So this is gonna make me cry. They got it back at the Lost and Found, which I've been to. It's in Disney Springs, so that's when it's gone through all of the different gates of Lost and Found groups and processes, and then it lives and ends up and I guess dies at Disney Springs. That's the master Lost and Found.
This
So,
is at Disneyland, you said.
whoops.
Oops.
Okay, let's correct this. This is the Disneyland Reddit, and this person did say happened to me at WDW.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay, okay.
which I'm surprised that people aren't yelling at her in this episode. This is the wrong Reddit, wrong subreddit.
They clarified at least.
They did. It was right in the beginning too, and I glossed over it. So they lost a Jasmine doll at Disney Springs is where it ends up. Which side story, I'll tell you what I lost and found at Disney Springs. So the person went to Disney Springs, got it, and they received the doll back and the shoes. It's two separate reports. And it says that the dress and hair was all perfect again, as if they looked like they took Jasmine to a salon.
That is very cute. However, did they just get a new one
As
for
I'm
them?
saying it, I'm sad because it sounds too good to be true, like they just bought a new one.
I
No,
mean, either way
but
is very nice because they replaced this missing item for this person for free,
wait, but then
right?
then they would have had to write the foot right on that foot,
Oh,
which could have
okay.
been on the note, on the lost and
That's
found
the
note.
story there. That's the story now. That's how we all tie it
That's really
together.
sweet.
However, can you imagine? They should have recorded like this journey Jasmine took from the
Wow.
floor of Peter Pan or something where she was thrown off the
Didn't
boat.
all of that? She didn't even say where she lost it. But I do think at minimum, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe they replaced the shoes. Like that just sounds too good to be true. But nevertheless,
That's kind
we'll
of three lost items, right? Because like a pair of shoes falling off aren't going to land together. Like
that's
that's not going to
true.
be easy to find or lost
That's
at the
true.
exact same time.
But I will
That's pretty
say
funny.
I'm always impressed and shocked at what they Disney delivers when you lose something.
Yes. Can I put a
So
real world one in as well? Go ahead, you
yeah,
first.
but this will make the this doll even more believable because they really do come through. I had lost so many things. The one that was Disney Springs related was I left a debit card in a, which is common in a restaurant menu after checking out. In not the
Right.
menu, but
The
the
little
little book,
the bill.
the bill. And but it wasn't Disney Springs, it was somewhere else. I can't remember. It was like a hotel restaurant or something. And it took me more than 24 hours to even realize I lost it. It was like not until the next time I needed to take it out. So I was panicking. The restaurant didn't have it. They told me to check Disney Springs. This was, I want to say, maybe 10 years ago. It was a while. And I went to Disney Springs. Lo and behold, they had it. A debit card. But it does have my name on it. But still, I was so impressed. I thought for sure I lost it. Time to report it. Call the hotline.
Super impressive.
Yeah.
Um, we have one as well, similar. I'm not going to say who because I don't know if she wants to be called out, but
Call her
we went
out.
to a
Call her
special
out.
after we went to an after hours event at Disneyland recently, kind of recently, and she had realized at the very end of the night that she had lost her whole wallet. Like her wallet was
Oh,
missing.
shoot.
And we're like, no, right? And she's taking a plane and like there's stuff like you need your ID for. In fact, we were gonna take her back to her hotel to check in. She hadn't even checked in her hotel room. It was like 1 in the morning.
Oop.
She's gonna go check in, and you can't check in without a ID, right?
Oh,
An
yeah.
ID.
Ay, ay, ay.
So she
That's so
we
stressful
got to
when
the
you find out.
hotel. We called the hotel. We're like, what do we do? Are there options? They said, come in. We could add someone to your, like, they're going to add me to the reservation. I can then check in and give her the key, basically, right? So we like got that figured out. So there's loopholes to making that work. However, when she checked her email, before even contacting Disney yet, she had already got an email from Disneyland letting her know that they found her wallet. And we're
Oh, an
like,
email. That's
how the
nice.
heck did this happen? I'm like, did you have your email written in your wallet somewhere? She's like, no. I'm like, how did they find your
Wow.
email or whatever? Like, how did that happen? And then when she went to go pick it up, turns out what happened was they were like, they looked through her wallet, looked up her address, and she happened to be an annual pass holder at some point. She's not right now. And they found her email and emailed her.
That's so smart. They're
So
so
they like did the
thoughtful.
work. They put in some work for that one.
I would like
Very
to
cool.
have that as my responsibility if I worked in guest
That'd be super fun.
services.
I'd be super excited to like just go and try to like I've had to do that at my job in the past, like being a facilities manager, like having to figure out who
Investigate.
lost things and like yeah, and then like go message them on LinkedIn or somewhere else, like we'd find them on Facebook, like I found your wallet.
Excuse me, but we have a wow, this is a crazy story. You and I were both there at D23 Expo Q, and there was a lady behind us who had to go use the bathroom or whatever. We needed to save her spot
Oh yeah, that's
in
right.
line for one of the big panels, hours waiting. And the line started moving, which is so stressful when you know you have to go. It's like Murphy's Law. As soon as you get up, it's going to start moving. And so it was slowly moving to be entered into the stadium. So we dug through her backpack, found her name somehow, then looked her up on Facebook and sent her a DM. Girl, the line is moving. You need to come back.
That
Thoughtful.
was so
That's
cool.
thoughtful.
We're so nice.
So nice. I think we should use that in job interviews as an
We
example.
should. Right.
When they go, when have you gone above and beyond?
Right. Let's see what your resourcefulness is like.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
I love it. Okay, so another lost and found that's from the alleged Disneyland Reddit thread is that there's a whole bunch of these with magic bands. But I thought that was interesting because I would assume that's easy because it has your information on it. But I just never thought about it or it never happened to me. But yes, they will have your lost and found item ready for you if you lose your magic band because it's connected to all the things,
Very smart.
um, which is nice. And I'm assuming that means even before you know you lost it, maybe just like they did in your story, maybe they'll already email or text you or notify you
Yeah. Get ahead of the
to the app.
game.
Yep, pretty cool.
Impressive.
Um, and so I did find out where Disneyland's Lost and Found item hub is. It's to the left of the main entrance of Disneyland Park. And so there might be multiple, but that's like the main hub that's equivalent to the Disney Springs version in Orlando. Yep.
Gotcha. That makes sense.
Here's another one that I know can be expensive because I am now a collector of, I'm looking for right now, Stanley cups, Stanley bottles. And someone lost their Stanley. That'll stress people out. Sometimes they're like $50 plus. And they said they made sure they added into the report a very specific, detailed description down to the every dent in the bottle.
Oh my gosh.
Um,
Nerds.
and
I love that
and
they've memorized
they
it.
memorized it, then what the top looked like versus the base, and they did find it, and they returned it, or they were
Very
able to pick it
nice.
up. Very cool.
Did they write
Cell
their name on the
phone,
bottom?
they did
Probably
not,
should
but
have.
now I guess we probably should on everything, everything,
Everything. Get a
everything.
Sharpie.
Sharpie, Andy. Another one was a cell phone that flung out of somebody's hand during Matterhorn. So, we think about this all the time and they give announcements about it. I always assume once it flew off of any ride, you're SOL. And I kind of assume that that's just what happens and that's too bad.
Eh,
But I am very surprised there's a lot of these ride ones. Have you ever lost something on a ride?
I have not. I've been with people that have lost them. And I do
Really?
know that they do ride walks at the end of the night and they pick up everything they can find that was dropped. And they'll do that also
Oh,
anytime the ride shuts down for any other reason. So like rides like
interesting.
Indiana Jones will get ride walks all day long because it breaks down all the time. But speaking of Indiana Jones, do you remember me telling you about the iPhone thing that happened on there? Indiana Jones?
Tell our listeners, and then if I don't remember, I
Okay, I
will
think they may have already heard this. So sorry if I'm repeating myself. I can't remember if I told you on or offline, but
repeat.
um a friend of mine, we were on Indiana Jones adventure at Disneyland, and she had this like pocket in her yoga pants that she kept her phone in. And I guess it popped out on the ride and she didn't notice. And we were just off the Jeep and the next car had loaded and they just took off. So we didn't have time to like do anything about it. So we just waited for the car to make its full rotation back. And the guy who was sitting around where we were like in her seat he said he felt the phone like slide up against his foot during the ride at some point and he stepped on it and held it the whole ride. He's like, I could tell it was a cell phone. So I just held it under my foot for the whole ride.
Dang.
And then he got back and handed it right to her or whatever. That was so cool.
Wow, what a
So
rush.
guests can be great lost and found saviors too.
Grateful for that guess. I had to hold
Yes.
my MacBook on Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind,
Oh
which
my
is
gosh.
stressful. But
Is
that's
that
what
the
you
only thing you
do.
carried in or something? Did you not
Let's
bring a bag?
Yeah, that's when you want to work remote. You just bring your laptop in.
Hilarious.
Yep. Um, here's one of your favorite rides, Haunted Mansion. Somebody lost, oh, how appropriate. They lost a gold emerald heart charm, 14 carats. I really don't know like what those mean. and it broke off. Her necklace broke. She had the necklace, but didn't have the charm. She submitted a ticket, and 2 days later, they found it. I can imagine it was
Yes.
tiny too.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
You would think it'd be just like there's so much crap like everywhere.
Yeah. Wow.
Wow.
Wow. So
Also, how did your
crazy.
necklace break on Haunted Mansion?
I don't know, but my gold necklace
Kids.
just
Probably
broke,
kids.
and I'm very
Oh
sad about it.
no.
I'm very sad
Your
about it.
big fancy one?
Yes, the one that I bought because I won something big jackpot at Las Vegas. Oh.
Oh.
I think I can get it fixed, but I've never had a nice enough piece of jewelry to like go to the jewelry
Right. Yeah,
repair shop.
same.
So here we go. I'll let you know how it goes. Um, and then let's give a not so happy story because it is true life. So somebody replied back to that person who found the heart necklace, who recovered the heart necklace from Haunted Mansion. They said, well, I've lost two rings at Disneyland, once on Guardians, slipped off the finger when the elevator was going down. Very specific.
Wow,
Um,
that's some intense gravity pull.
yeah. Good for them. Maybe they just had an Ozempic run and it was like, woo, it slipped right off. And then they lost another ring on the Matterhorn, and neither were recovered. Both were reported and in high sentimental value.
Oh, that sucks. I have seen a few of these posts online, like on Facebook, like Disney groups, where people are saying like, "Hey, if you're still there, can you check? I lost it here." And they're doing investigative work too. Like, I know exactly where I lost it because there's a picture of me here
Wow.
on the Matterhorn and it's still on. And then 5 minutes later, we were on the teacups and it's off. It's gone. So like I lost my necklace between point A to point B. So somewhere between those two, they like really figure it out for you. And then you could go look around if you're in the park.
The internet can help a lot. There's
Yeah,
documentaries about
you
that.
never know.
So maybe these posts itself will have helped them find it.
Maybe.
Somebody lost their nose ring while queuing for Alice in Wonderland,
Oh.
and they said, "This is cute." They said, "I didn't bother making a report because once I saw it hit the ground and bounce, I assumed it just went down the rabbit
Oh,
hole."
down, down, down.
Poor thing. They did say it was cheap and there was no value to it, sentimental
Uh,
value. Well, thank you for sharing, Redditor.
yeah.
Somebody's hat blew off on Space Mountain, which this must happen often. This
Oof.
person said they had a ponytail through the hole, so they really assumed it'd be safe.
Yeah.
So be
Space Mountain
careful.
is really windy though. Every time it makes your
Yeah.
eyes water and they're going straight backwards.
And if you're like throwing your head back in laughter, the rim is getting hit
Right.
by the wind.
Oh yeah.
Uh,
I'll
but
take it right
yeah,
off.
it flew off. She reported it. An email said they found it the next day.
That is crazy.
They also offer shipping, which you do have to pay for on your own behest. And is that a proper use of that word?
I've
Uh,
never heard it.
somebody lost expensive sunglasses on Space Mountain also, and they got those shipped back because she did not live local.
Oh, that's very smart. Hey, if they're expensive or very specific sunglasses, I would pay for that to get shipped back.
Especially if you got the email. Like it's a shot in the dark to begin with. And
Right.
then you're like, okay, they found it. It's meant to be
I have a
Kismet.
sad lost and found story.
Oh,
I went shopping at Disneyland. I bought a bunch of stuff, like it was one of those things where I bought multiple sizes of a jacket because I wanted to like take it home and try it on, and I was going to take it back. So I bought like three, I think, different denim jackets of the Skeleton Dance. Remember
oh, that's a good
that line
one.
that came out? I had a Skeleton Dance shirt, and then I had something else too. I had probably like $200 worth of merchandise, and I didn't want to carry it around, so I got a locker, which means I had to pay $7 more to just put it somewhere for the day. And I put it away and forgot about it
Oh,
and left the park. I gave them my day. It was like I don't know. I left the park at midnight when it closed or something. It was like maybe 1:30 a.m. when I realized I
oh
forgot it.
shoot, I'm just
So
remembering
you
you
can't
said
go
this is
back.
a sad one.
Yeah. So you can't go back in the park to like check the locker yourself. There's nobody around to like contact. So I emailed. They kept checking, couldn't find it. I gave them the locker number, the code to get in, like everything that made it very obvious that I'm not lying or whatever. And they said they never found it. I'm like, how did you not find it? It was in a locked locker in your facility the day of that I messaged you.
That's crazy. That's very specific. And a locker is just like one thing to find, and then you'd find
Yeah,
everything
and it
in
was like
it,
a
right?
bag full of merchandise. It's not like an earring that fell off on Matterhorn. Like how they find those and they can't find mine.
That's crazy. You know why? Somebody that you should not trust probably took it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Not saying there's any ill will cast members out there, but
Hey, that might be a third party, but they should look up whoever
oh,
works at those lockers
yeah,
at that
cameras,
time.
please. There's
Just saying,
cameras in
yeah,
there.
yeah,
100% there's cameras in there.
yeah.
What a shame.
Anyway,
Um,
it works for other people, obviously. Just not me.
that one you'd think would have its own lost and found operation for left
Yeah,
items.
yeah.
Um, so trying to think if there's something I lost and didn't recover. Not really, but I used to back in the day bring my full-on camcorder that
Hmm.
you'd buy from like Best Buy, a giant handheld camcorder. And I would leave it places all the time, like at the table or on a ride, but I'd always run back because I would know like within 15 seconds.
That was close.
Oh my God, Seth, stop interrupting us with your laughing.
Gosh, Seth.
Jen is trying to tell us a story here.
Yeah, yeah, it was. So I was saying another lost and found story happened recently where I lost and found on my own, did not get anywhere else in between. However, there was probably like at least 30 minutes in between. And I had found it was sorry, rewind. It was at Rancho de Zocalo. We had a large group. I think there was at least 8 of us. I ordered my food. I was the first person, so I went out to find a table. I found a large table, set my backpack down. Turns out somebody else came, found a better table with a heater when it was still cold.
I was gonna say
And I
heater.
simply got
Wow.
up and walked over there and left my bag with my wallet, my everything in it, everything, and left and went over there and ate a whole meal, hung out with friends, laughed, hung out,
Laughed.
talked, walked away. And then I realized that my stuff was missing. And I ran back with that panic you were talking about, like in the
Stomach
bottom of
drop.
your chest and in your belly,
Mhm.
like, oh my God, everything just drops. And it was just still sitting there on the table.
That
Like
happens to the best of
no
us,
one had touched it.
especially that exact scenario, like leaving it where you're eating and then you're moving around and so much is happening.
People probably thought it was like sus. Like, is there like a bomb in that
Uh,
bag? Just like
At
the
the
unattended
airport,
bag. Yeah.
I get sus if there's an at the airport or on the subway. But there's
That's so funny.
also an excitement and stomach dropping feeling of seeing a good table open up.
There is. There is.
So
That's hard to find. We found two for 8 people. Amazing.
that's pretty hard. Okay. Other lost and found items now from more Redditors. Someone says back in 2002 and 2003, my autograph book fell out of my pocket. So maybe a small one too,
Aww.
at DCA while on California Screamin'.
Oh, shoot.
Parentheses, it says now in Credit Coaster. Love that. I didn't tell anyone it was lost. I was unsure if I even lost it on the ride or not, but it had my first name and last initial. 2 weeks after getting back home from California, they didn't say where they lived, but not in California. It arrived in the mail, not even a phone call, email.
What?
I guess there was email back then, 2002. Not even an email, just straight in the mail. They sent it to her because they found the name and then I guess confirmed the address on the ID was still the right address. I don't know. So cool. This person says they were 12 at
Amazing.
the time, and when it showed up, it felt like some crazy magic I would never expect. Magic. Magic.
That is very impressive. And an autograph book is an actual, like, kind of really crappy thing to lose because you put a lot of work into getting those autographs. And a lot of experiences and
Yes.
moments are captured in that. It's not just like a book or something you could just
Yeah.
rebuy.
That's so one of a kind and could take forever to get your
Right.
book filled up.
Yep.
Wow.
Oh
Okay,
man.
so this next person, I love it because they are trying to get all the skeptics to believe that this magic happens with Lost and Found. But I don't think they're a Disney-holic because there's some incorrect things here that I'll see if you and our listeners and viewers point out as we tell the story.
Okay.
So this person says, "Okay, for all you skeptics, here is my true L and F story." I'm going to read this
Okay.
word for word. It happened at Disney's Wild Kingdom.
Uh, Vicky wrote this one,
I
first
don't
of
think so.
all.
She wouldn't be that wrong.
Not even
Vicky
Vicky would be that wrong.
says, "Lost one of my hearing aids."
Oh
Okay,
shoot.
don't jump to conclusions. They could be any age, you know. Didn't realize until I was on my way back to our hotel in the shuttle bus at the end of the park day. I made a report online that night. My hearing aid is Bluetooth enabled, which I didn't know was a thing. This makes
I didn't know
sense,
either, but also how
right?
did you not realize you lost it until later?
They like to
Sorry.
maybe tune out their family. I don't know. My hearing aid is Bluetooth enabled and it had a fresh battery in it. I know this because I replaced the battery during lunch that day. The next morning, I went to Wild Kingdom's guest service,
Wild
explained what
Kingdom.
happened, and my wife and I figured out approximately where I lost it due to pictures my wife had taken of me during the day.
Ah, there's the investigative
There
work.
it is. I was hoping they could do a Bluetooth scan after the park closed.
Oh my God. Is that a thing?
WTF is a Bluetooth scan. What is that? Oh my gosh. Cast, and I bet you they
Wait.
suggested this to the guest service.
Oh
Um,
no.
Cast members went into the back. 2 minutes later, came back with my hearing aid. Correct color, brand, and the Bluetooth signal immediately matched up with my phone's app. All caps, exclamation point, Disney magic is real.
I have so many questions.
So, first of all, this one was a fresh put. This is 15 days ago, 2 weeks.
Was this Animal Kingdom? Is that
It
why they're
has
calling
to
it
be.
Wild Kingdom?
That's the only other place I could think of. Right? It has to be. Because they're in the Disneyland Reddit.
What did they call it? Bluetooth scan?
Yeah. I get what could that possibly work with? Like maybe RFID, but you'd have to have like a whole satellite working on that or a drone going around.
Can you
Oh, air
scan Bluetooth
tags.
devices? What does Bluetooth scanning do? Captures data from various sources. No, that's
Interesting.
not.
Like what does Find My iPhone use? It like pings something,
Yeah,
but I
I
still
don't
think it's
know.
has to do with satellite or now I feel just as dumb as this person that I was just making fun of for thinking that they could do a Bluetooth scan. I'm like now considering maybe that is a real thing. I
Maybe
don't
it is
know.
a real thing. Also, this is just an ignorant question, but like, what do you need your hearing aid hooked up to Bluetooth for?
I think that's how it works in this particular product, which is so smart. Rather than having an expensive one custom made, perhaps you just pop it in and Bluetooth it and it somehow works. I have no
And it's
idea.
using like the microphone from the phone instead to pick up or something?
Microphone from the ear, but streaming it back into your ear.
Like, I can't understand
I
what
can't think of it
adding the
either.
phone does.
Maybe if you want to record everything. Wait,
Maybe
that's
there's just
weird.
like a bunch of bells and whistles that you can do,
Yeah.
right?
No, you're
Like,
right. There's probably an
yeah.
app that you have to use to at least turn it on and maybe increase how much it picks up and stuff.
Yeah, I bet. That's cool.
Clever. That's it's come a long way. My dad has
Yeah,
one, my grandpa had one, and my grandpa Pap always used it to tune us out. That's why I said that earlier.
that's
Yeah.
hilarious.
If we were too loud at like dinner,
Where
you
you
would
just like
hear it. It would go
you hear
clever.
like the
Clever. Pap, we have the same birthday, RIP. Okay.
oh,
Someone says, wow, someone just commented like, wow, there's so many new ways I find out how people can spread the magic.
that's
That's
so
very
cute.
nice. Okay,
very
someone's
nice.
friend left their Android phone on a table at a gift cart in downtown Disney. I guess that's like where you buy things, the vendor carts. And it was turned in later. They mailed it back to us after calling us for shipping.
Very
Oh, and over
nice.
the phone, they confirmed the lock screen passcode to prove it was hers. They asked her for the number.
Oh, ooh, and then they went and stole all their
I
information.
was thinking that at minimum, go through the
Whoops.
camera roll, right?
At
Okay, I would go to
least.
the camera and take a picture of us cast members
For
smiling,
sure. I
face.
also thought about that earlier. If
So,
I ever find someone's autograph book, I'm 100% leaving an autograph and a little story in there.
yeah. Oh, that's so cute. Lost and found. Okay, so another one that this is a good warning for people. When you're using the pouch in front of you on a ride vehicle, make sure two things. Make sure you're putting it in the pouch. And number two, make sure you retrieve it at the end of the ride. So this person thought they put their phone into the pouch and it fell off and went into the floor because they didn't
Shoot.
actually put it in the pouch and they didn't
Yeah, they
notice.
missed it.
They missed it. They didn't notice until the ride was going and it flew off the ride into the
Oof.
dark. I wish these people would be more specific for storytelling purposes. It doesn't say which ride. It says Lost in the Dark, so it has to be a dark ride. They said a day or two later, um, it was found after we filled out a form.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
Found it again.
And they're just like, I don't know how much of this stuff gets passed through Lost and Found on a regular basis. I am so impressed that Disney found it. They must be pretty good at this, Lost and Found.
I'm kind of sad from all of this because I have another lost and found failure story
Oh,
of my
shoot.
own.
Bitter Betty, she's not getting found,
I'm
just
just
lost.
remembering all this stuff, and this is double bad.
And
Okay,
you
this
reported
was
it.
I reported it. So this
Wow.
was the grand reopening of Star Tours when they did Star Tours: The Adventure Continues, right? Or whatever. What is the new one called? Adventure Continues? Because it's supposed to
Yeah.
be like a prequel, right?
No, I think it just means the Star Tours adventure is continuing to
Okay.
visit other lands and timelines.
So whenever they opened the newest version, I was their opening day, and a friend of mine who's now a Disney PhotoPass photographer, get to see him all the time, bought me a gift. It was very nice that he did that. It was not Star Tours? It was not for Star Tours. It was when Captain EO came back. And I
Barf.
was their
Okay.
opening day as well. And he bought me a fuzzball plushie, like the plush of the character from Captain
Oh,
EO, as a gift to me because he knows I love fuzzball. Gave it to me. I proceeded to go on Star Tours with him right after he gave it to me, put it under my seat, and left. This is
left
a
it.
thing I do. Put things somewhere and then I just walk away. And then I came back like half an hour later when I remembered, and nobody knew about it. Like cast
Dang.
members didn't know about it. I put in a report, never heard about it. But somebody, like a Disney holic, got on my seat after in the next ride and took that shit home, right?
Shame on them. This is why
Shame.
we learned a lot of things so far from this episode. One is write your name in Sharpie on the bottom of the foot.
Yes.
And then number two, let's remember to take those items out of storage when we leave the vehicle.
I now, every time, I don't use lockers very often, but now when I do, I literally set an alarm in my phone when I think I'm going to leave a
Wow.
park so that I don't forget.
That's
I'm
intense.
so scarred from that.
I usually look back now every time I leave a table or an Uber, like 100 times, like my neck is broken
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I don't want to ever lose things anymore.
Totally.
Um, Speaking of stuffed animals, this next Reddit story is cute because they said their daughter lost a Rescue Rangers chip plush stuffy at Magic Kingdom. It looks like Disneyland Thread has both coasts in it. It is what it is. They said they filed a lost and found
Not happy
report.
about it.
I'm not happy about it, although I go back and forth to both Reddits, but I still would make sure I post on the proper one. And yeah, so they lost their Rescue Rangers plush. They reported it lost and found. And a few days later, in the mail, was a Rescue Rangers chip plush that was significantly larger than the one they lost. So obviously they sent them a new one, but I think that's cute. And they just told their daughter, "Oh, it got a glow up."
That's very cute. But does this also solve the mystery about Jasmine from earlier.
We don't know because the Redditor did not specify if the writing was still on the foot, or they
Yeah, why
did,
would they
but they
bring
did.
that detail in just to
Yeah,
leave us hanging on that?
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
reach out to them. I will reach out
Storytelling
to them.
101. Ping them after 18 years later of their Reddit post.
Reddit post. Okay, so last but not least, Star Wars night. Somebody went with their family and while exiting Pirates of the Caribbean? Pirates of the Caribbean, they pulled out their phone, which also had their credit card and ID holder on it.
That's what
That's a
I have.
downside of having these all-in-one items.
I know. But if I'm ever gonna not lose something, it's my phone because I always know where my phone is.
Always your fingers on it, you're looking at it, you're checking something. So they didn't realize it was missing until 20 minutes later, assumed it fell out of their bag after leaving Pirates. And it turns out that somebody, I guess it says unbeknownst, another guest had seen it on the floor. Oh, okay. Let me rearrange my thoughts here because they wrote this very weird. So the person lost their phone wallet, and Lost and Found didn't have it. The ride operators didn't have it because they checked as soon as 20 minutes, which that's the thing. You have to wait a little bit in order for it to arrive at like a Lost and
Yeah.
Found center. But they just decided on their own to go back through the queue and the exit and everything, and they found it on top of a trash can.
Oh, hey, I've done that before.
Right. So another guest, unbeknownst to them, must have just picked it up and thought, oh, they must be so nearby because it's such an important item that why don't we leave it here, I guess, for them? Yeah, that's not bad.
I've done that before. I don't know why. Maybe it wasn't in Disneyland. Maybe it was somewhere where I don't like there's nowhere to give it to somebody, like out in San Francisco or something. Put it on a trash
Yeah,
can.
that's what I wonder. Like, is it bad? It's kind of lazy to just put it on a trash can, but they found it, so
Yep.
whatever.
Yep.
Especially, if it's a phone, maybe they'd be using Find My and would find it quickly.
Oh yeah.
I don't
If
know.
it's an iPhone.
I don't know that
Do
thought
droids have that?
process.
I don't know.
Would you leave it on a trash can? Let's say you found an iPhone with a wallet on it and a name and everything.
In Disneyland?
Yes.
No, I would give it to a cast member, or I would
Right. Same.
just investigate on my own. Also, I probably would make it my
Call.
mission for the day is to like find them in the park and like,
I think, especially after reading today's episode, Reddit stories, it seems like giving it to a cast member, it'll likely get there if it has their name and ID on it and phone.
yeah, especially all that. Yeah.
You know. Huh, that's my
Ha.
nephew. Well, today we got to have a imposter version of Seth Rogen on the podcast. And we also talked all about things lost
Okay.
and found at Disney parks.
Yes. So thank you all for listening, and we hope you enjoyed episode 236 of the Disney Holics Show.
Follow us on social media at the Disneyholics.
And if you'd like to get in touch with us, send us a DM on Instagram or contact us at thedisneyholics.com.
Okay,
Goodbye.
bye.
Wait, where's it? Get some of that. Get some of that.